It has become very apparent this season that, and the past season since we acquired Pirtle back from the Spurs, it's been very apparent the Raptors miss Pirtle when he's out. It's very apparent the Raptors don't have a suitable backup center who can protect the rim. And it was very apparent the Raptors had seemingly a very good chance to get that type of player at the 2025 NBA draft with Khaman Maluach out of Duke. Instead, with the 9th overall pick, they elected to go for Collin Murray-Boyles. And now, here we are with the Raptors. We are 23 games into the season. Still very early on in their careers, but after this short amount of time to the rookie seasons, let's assess if it feels like this was the right decision by the Raptors. Like I said, 9th overall pick, to the surprise of a lot of people, Collin Murray-Boyles out of South Carolina was selected by the Raptors. We were kind of going into the draft as Raptors fans, myself included, hoping Maluach would just be available at 9 to give us the chance to take him. And it felt like a Masai Ujiri team was going to take this type of player. It felt like that they were going to go in that direction, especially a team that needed that type of player. They needed a backup center. They needed a player like this. This was the perfect opportunity for the Raptors to go and get that type of player. But instead, they go with Collin Murray-Boyles. And there were a lot of Raptors fans who were pissed off that they went in that direction. It was like an upheaval for some people. For myself, Bobby Webster communicated after the draft. He said, we felt like Collin Murray-Boyles was the best player available. That's the player we took. Maybe not the perfect fit or the best fit for the Raptors, but they believe this was the best player available. And they believe that their development team can get the most out of these types of players. Long, switchable players who show a lot of promise defensively. They want to work with them on the offensive end of the ball. So that's what they're attempting to do with Collin Murray-Boyles. And truthfully, Collin Murray-Boyles has played really well this season, especially relative to expectations. He's been impressive. He's averaging 7.4 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 1.3 assists. He's shooting 55% from the field. To our big surprise, we thought his threes were going to struggle, and this is only a small sample size, but he's taken 1.3 attempts from three a game, and he's shooting 46% from three right now. So a little bit of surprise there for sure, but pretty clear, like, he's worked on his three ball, and it's improving, and it looks like he might be, like, fine for the NBA level. But I think what's most impressive to me about Collin Murray-Boyles, as much as the defense is great, he's looked good on offense, the three ball is coming along. The most impressive thing for me about Collin Murray-Boyles, and I think this is what teams are starting to just care about more and more in the draft, is just the fact, like, this is just a high IQ player. Just feels like Collin Murray-Boyles is so consistently making the right read, making the right play, making the right decision to help out the team. Not worrying about his own numbers, his own game. He's worried about just making the team better, and it just feels like so consistently he's making the right read. And that doesn't seem super common for a rookie. I felt like this was a player that was going to need a little bit more time to adjust to the NBA, a player that was going to need a little bit more time to get settled into the physicality of the league, the speed of the league. Maybe this was going to be a player that needed a bit of time in the G League just to kind of sharpen up a little bit, like we saw briefly last year with Jacoby Walter, which helped him out. But more so like Grady Dick, his rookie season, he spent quite a bit of time in the G League kind of sorting his game out. And then he came back up to the NBA and has been a contributor for the Raptors ever since. Murray-Boyles hasn't really needed that. Since day one, he has firmly been in the rotation for the Raptors. And it doesn't look like that's going to change maybe for a while. Like, this is just a super talented player. And the Raptors seemingly got a good one at the draft with the 9th overall pick. Now, as much as Murray-Boyles has played well, he's doing well for the team. Was it worth it to take him over Khaman Maluach? Well, if the early indication suggests anything, Maluach has not made an impact for the Suns. I'll concede. The Suns have been much better than expected this season. I thought this was like a Frankenstein's monster type of team. It's filled with players who are decent, but are really good at complementing stars, except the Suns don't really have any stars. But to their credit, I thought they'd be awful, but they're 13-9. They've done okay to start this season. There's still a long way to go, but they're 13-9 to start the season. Like, that's not so bad. That's absolutely not so bad. But Maluach still has struggled to make an impact there. He's played in 10 games this season. He's averaged 1.3 points. He's only shooting 37.5% from the field. A lot of the minutes that are coming for him are in garbage time. And since he's come to the NBA, he's had a couple of stints now in the G League where he's put up some like good numbers, but he's had a couple of stints in the G League already in this season. So still struggling to break through in the NBA. Now, I am definitely not going to count a player out 20 games essentially, or for his case, I guess 10 games into the career. I'm absolutely not going to count a player out 10 games into their rookie season, 20 games for the team into the player's rookie season, especially a big, and especially, even more especially, a big who doesn't have a super polished game. So I am absolutely not going to count Khaman Maluach out at all. But the early indications are, not trying to like we don't really need to compare. The early indications are Collin Murray-Boyles was a great pick. And he's a good player that is helping the Raptors now and could potentially help them even more going forward as he continues to develop. And he's already showcased a lot of signs of development. We don't know what Khaman Maluach is going to become. Maybe we'll look back and say, damn, that would have been nice. And I think it's even more exhausted at that point just because, like, it's very obvious the Raptors don't have a backup center. Maybe Maluach could have provided that to the team. But for me, again, the Raptors, like we always say it, like every time Raptors top pick, people always say draft for talent over fit. But then when the Raptors actually do draft talent over fit, people go, whoa, we needed this position. We needed to sort this out. We didn't need another forward. Good players find ways to get in rotation. Good players find ways to get minutes. The Raptors, yes, obviously still need a backup center, need to address that position. But the draft is about amassing talent, especially for a team like Toronto that struggles to attract free agents. Amass the talent, worry about getting the positional needs later. Just later hasn't come quite yet for the Raptors. And it needs to come. And they need to figure out that position. But the draft is for amassing talent and finding the best player available. The Raptors have seemingly done a good job in doing that and evaluating talent with Collin Murray-Boyles. Very excited to see where the development goes. Still need to find another way to get a backup center. But as of right now, very, very early. Nowhere near enough of a sample to make a certified take here. But as of right now, the indication is Raptors so far have got this one right. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good from the Collin Murray-Boyles standpoint at this point. Absolutely. Okay. Happy Friday to the North Fish. Happy Friday to everyone. All right. I know it's a few minutes early, but that's what I wanted to cover today. Send in your final questions, thoughts, anything, and I'm going to wrap this one up shortly. As a reminder, I'm not going to be able to go live tonight for the Raptors game. I have a couple of friends' birthdays I'm celebrating in town tonight, so I got pre-existing plans here. So I won't be able to come through for the Hornets game tonight. Hopefully the Raptors can get a win in my absence. The next time you'll see me is Sunday, late afternoon. I think it's a 3:30 game where the Raptors are playing against the Boston Celtics. You know I love a Boston game, so should be a fun one. But that'll do it. That'll do it for the stream today. Thank you for coming through, hanging out with me. I'm sorry for the sporadic content over the last 2 weeks, including tonight for the watch-along. Should be getting back on track. Should be getting back on track with the content game starting on Sunday. So hope you all have a great rest of your night. Hopefully the Raptors can win for us. Hopefully you all have a fantastic weekend. I will have to see you again next time.